This summer, the league has truly taken a completely different turn. That's because the league's landscape can be redrawn overnight. Superstars pack their bags and switch franchises, thereby changing their destinies. So here's my question. Whose career has truly been transformed from the very beginning amid this storm? Today, we'll be ranking the 10 NBA stars whose lives changed in many ways during the summer of 2026. One by one, we'll start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1. By the way, before we dive right into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because this channel will continue to bring you content you'll love throughout the season. Let's get started right away. Number 10, a new king in the capital. The reality is this: Atlanta traded him mid-season and many people viewed it as nothing short of a disaster. But Trae Young saw it differently. He declined his $48.9 million player option, which would have tied his hands, and subsequently signed a 4-year, $212 million deal with the Washington Wizards. There's also a player option in the 4th year. We can now officially call him the heart of this rebuild. And alongside him is the number 1 draft pick, AJ. A city that has suffered for years has finally found its new leader. For Trae, this isn't an ending, it's truly a new beginning. Number 9, the new burden, shouldered by a star. To be honest, I'm talking about someone who made consecutive conference finals with Minnesota. Then overnight, everything changed. Julius Randle was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, marking his 5th team in his career. Of course, it's a young and disjointed roster. Now he'll be the most experienced voice on the team, and the leadership expected of a star is definitely expected from him as well. For Randle, Brooklyn will be both a true test and a chance to prove himself all over again. Number 8, the Wolves' new power. Charlotte was truly his city, and he'd even won Rookie of the Year. He was practically the face of the franchise, but they just couldn't win. And this summer, LaMelo Ball was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves as part of a massive 4-team deal. In return, Naz Reid and a series of draft picks came to Charlotte. Now, LaMelo will share the backcourt with Anthony Edwards, and when you think about it, that's 2 explosive scorers together. For LaMelo, this could mean his first real taste of the playoffs. Number 7, the city of rebirth. I'm talking about exactly 7 years spent in Memphis. Of course, during that time, there were ups and downs, injuries, and some controversies. Ja Morant's story had really become complicated by then, and this summer the Grizzlies traded him to the Portland Trail Blazers. In return, they acquired Jerami Grant and Chris Murray. Ja wanted a fresh start, and he's finally found it. He says he's a more mature, calmer Ja now. That old, high-flying Ja, the one who used to bring arenas to their feet, let's see if he can make a comeback. In fact, the entire league is probably focused on this very question. Number 6, the fading star's new role. Paul George went to Philadelphia exactly 2 years ago on a massive 4-year, $211 million contract, and after that, he was barely seen. Injuries really took a toll on him, and last season he managed to play in only 37 games. Fast forward to this season, and unexpectedly, he was traded to the Boston Celtics over the summer in exchange for Jaylen Brown. He's no longer a star. Perhaps we can call him a role player now. Of course, he's expected to knock down 3-pointers from the perimeter alongside Jason Tatum. And in this late stage of his career, George wants to take on a completely new identity. Number 5, return to the North. I'm talking about someone who left after bringing a championship to Toronto, and the city, of course, hasn't forgotten him. This summer, Kawhi Leonard was traded from the Clippers to the Raptors. In exchange, Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and future draft picks went to Los Angeles. Kawhi is now set to return to the arena where he hoisted the trophy in 2019, quietly but effectively, and alongside Scotty Barnes, Toronto has begun to dream again. Who knows, some stories, as you know, can come full circle. I'd say Kawhi's story fits that description perfectly. Number 4, a huge opportunity. He spent 10 years in Boston, winning 1 championship and being named Finals MVP. Once, I'd say Jaylen Brown was the very embodiment of Celtics culture. But this summer, something unbelievable happened. Boston traded him to their biggest rival, the Philadelphia 76ers. In return, they acquired Paul George and draft picks. Just weeks earlier, the 76ers had managed to knock the Celtics, with Brown on the roster, out of the playoffs. Of course, Brown said that when he heard the news, he literally threw his phone across the room. Now he'll be playing alongside Maxey. Competition can sometimes force even your most loyal soldier into exile, as in cases like this. Number 3, the end of an era. He spent 13 years in Milwaukee, winning 1 championship, 2 MVP awards, and becoming the very embodiment of the city's hopes. But his quest for that second ring never ended. On the eve of draft night, the big news broke. Giannis Antetokounmpo was traded to Miami, and along with Bobby Portis, in exchange, Milwaukee received Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Kasparas Jakučionis, and the 13th pick in the 2026 draft. They also acquired unprotected first-round picks for 2031 and 2033. So as you can see, an empire has come to an end and a new one is being built. Giannis, meanwhile, will now be chasing a championship in South Florida alongside Bam Adebayo. The Bucks, on the other hand, will officially be starting from scratch. Number 2, the final decision. To be honest, by the time the season ended, everyone was convinced it was over. At 41 years old, after 23 seasons, he was considering retirement, but the fire inside him just wouldn't go out. And then came the news that shook the league. LeBron James left the Lakers to sign with the 76ers. I'm talking about a 2-year veteran contract worth approximately $8 million with a player option in the second year. Actually, this wasn't about the money. It was about one thing only: winning one more championship. He called it his final decision, and now he'll be playing alongside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. As a result, the Eastern Conference was reshaped overnight, so a legend will now take his final bow in Philadelphia. Number 1, the man who ended a 53-year drought, and now we've reached number 1. Maybe there wasn't a trade, maybe he didn't switch teams, but no one's career has changed quite like this. I'm talking about Jalen Brunson. Once a second-round pick, an intriguing name who remained in the shadows, and this summer he led the New York Knicks to their first championship since 1973. They managed to defeat the San Antonio Spurs in the finals with a 4-1 series win. In fact, in the decisive Game 7, he scored 45 points in a 94-90 victory and was unanimously selected as the finals MVP by the 11-member panel. Of course, he averaged 32 points per game throughout the series. That's how he became a legend overnight. New York will certainly never forget him. Here's the name that's transformed his career the most. Not a star who switched teams, but a man who changed a city forever. I've mentioned the 10 names who are redrawing the map of the summer of 2026. Some went to a rival team, some returned home, and some managed to change a city forever. But the real critical question here is this: who do you think really came out on top this summer? Is it Giannis chasing a championship in Miami, LeBron dancing his final dance in Philadelphia, or Brunson, who's already reached the pinnacle? You might not agree with my top pick. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss. I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because when the season starts and ends, we'll all be following how these stories unfold right here on this channel. See you in the next video.